Welcome to the Practice Playbook podcast, your go-to resource for legal professionals, mediators, and entrepreneurial experts building modern, profitable, and purpose-driven businesses. I'm your host, Susan Guthrie, attorney, mediator, and #1 best-selling author with over 35 years of experience. I'm a former chair of the ABA section of dispute resolution, and I've helped thousands of professionals build practices they love through my books, coaching, and training programs. Each week, I'll bring you real-world strategies, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you grow with clarity, confidence, and impact. Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast. If you're a regular listener, you know that a big part of my work happens behind the scenes, inside firms, organizations, and professional groups through workshops, retreats, and strategy sessions. But no matter the audience, no matter the size of the firm, there is always one topic that comes up: LinkedIn. And sometimes it shows up as frustration. Often it shows up actually as frustration. Sometimes as confusion. And sometimes as, I know I should be using it, but I'm not sure it's actually doing anything for my practice. And what I find fascinating is that this question comes from professionals who are smart, accomplished, and already very good at what they do. These are not beginners. They are people who have put in the time, built experience, and learned credibility in the real world. Yet for them, LinkedIn still feels like a black box. So today's episode comes directly out of those conversations. The same ones I have in conference rooms, retreat settings, and coaching sessions when the slides are closed and the real questions start coming out. We are going to talk about something I see over and over again: why so much LinkedIn effort never turns into actual business. This is the LinkedIn visibility trap and why likes do not turn into clients. First off, let's jump in with a reality check. I'll start with something I hear all the time. This is the sentence that I get most often. Susan, I'm posting consistently on LinkedIn. People are liking my posts. I get comments, but I'm not getting clients. Does that sound familiar? If it does, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not doing LinkedIn wrong, but you may be falling into what I call the visibility trap. Because visibility, people seeing you and hearing you, that feels like progress. Likes feel validating. Comments feel encouraging. And yet, for many professionals, none of this is translating into meaningful inquiries, better clients, or importantly, a better, stronger practice. So, why is visibility not the same as traction? Here's where we're going to have the first mindset shift. Because LinkedIn is very good at rewarding engagement, but it is not designed to reward conversion. And by conversion, I mean the people interacting with you, engaging with you, converting into clients. The platform amplifies content that sparks reaction and agreement. And that is very different from content that builds confidence in your ability to handle a real high-stakes matter. This is most often where people get stuck. They are visible to peers. They are affirmed by colleagues. They are doing everything they were told to do, and still nothing changes. And that takes us to the peer applause problem. Most likes come from people just like you. Other professionals, people who understand your work and your language. And it feels good. All those little thumbs ups every once in a while, getting a heart, a support, all the different possible, a couple of exclamation points, right? It feels good. But here's the problem. Content that performs well with peers is actually often too safe, too broad, or too educational to trigger a hiring decision. Decision makers are not looking to be educated. They're looking to feel confident in choosing you. So what are decision makers actually evaluating? When someone is deciding whether to reach out to you, they are not asking whether they liked your post, right? They're not asking if it was worth a thumbs up. They are asking, does this person understand problems like mine? Do they sound confident making decisions, not just explaining concepts? Do they have a point of view? And would I trust them when things get complicated? If your content never answers those questions, visibility will not convert into clients. Let me give you a real example that comes up all the time in my workshops and firm retreats. I'll be sitting with a group of experienced professionals, and again, really smart people who are well respected in their field. And someone will inevitably raise their hand and say something like this: Susan, I post on LinkedIn a few times a week. My posts do well. I do get all those likes and comments, but I cannot remember the last time a post actually turned into a client. So I ask a simple follow-up question. When someone reaches out to you about your work, what do they usually say made them contact you? And here's what's interesting. They rarely mention a specific post. They rarely reference a particular insight, and they almost never say, I loved how educational your content on LinkedIn was. Instead, they say things like, I've been following you for a while. I like how you think about these issues. You seem to really get the kinds of situations I'm dealing with. And that's really important feedback that tells us something important. It was not the most liked post that mattered. It was the accumulation of judgment over time. Then we look at their LinkedIn content together. What we usually see is thoughtful, polished, informative posts that explain concepts well, but never actually show how this person evaluates a situation, makes a call, or navigates complexity. Right? So when we're looking at their actual posts, the content proves they're knowledgeable, but it never proves they are the right choice. So what we do is we shift their content. Not to post more. I hope you all feel relieved by that. Most people tell me they want to post less. Not to post more, but to post differently. And when you do that, something changes. They start sharing how they think through decisions. They name common mistakes they see. They talk about trade-offs, not just best practices. And their engagement often goes down slightly. But the private messages change completely. And that is when LinkedIn starts working as a conversion engine, as a funnel of potential clients. So most LinkedIn posts fall into one of three categories. 1, informational content explains ideas. It gets likes. 2, relational content builds connection. It builds familiarity. And 3, authority signaling content shows how you think, evaluate, and decide in real situations. The mistake is not posting informational or relational content. The mistake is never posting authority signaling content and expecting business results anyway. Right? So you're going to post all three kinds of content, but most people forget that all important authority signaling content that shows how you think, evaluate, and decide in real situations. So here's a simple test. If someone reads 10 of your posts and still cannot answer the question, "What would I call you for?" then your visibility is not working for you, right? Just go pull up your LinkedIn feed right now and go look at your last 10 posts. If someone who read those 10 posts cannot answer the question, "What would I call that professional for?" then your visibility is not working for you. You may be known, but you're not positioned. And positioning is what drives trust. Now, there are practical shifts that can change these results. A few concrete changes that make a difference. Stop posting only what feels safe. Share opinions, name mistakes, talk about trade-offs. Write for one specific decision maker, not your entire network. You can write a series of posts all to different decision makers, but when you try to make one post everything to everyone, it's not going to land with anyone. Move from teaching to interpreting. What do I mean? What I mean is, do not just explain the issue, explain what matters and what gets overlooked, and measure the right outcomes. One thoughtful message from the right person is worth more than 100 likes. LinkedIn also works best as a long-term trust platform, not a lead machine. It's a place to demonstrate judgment, clarity, and confidence over time. No one post is going to drive the business that you're looking for. It is a long-term strategy. So when you stop chasing the visibility, getting those likes, getting the engagement, and start designing it intentionally, the platform becomes much easier for you and much more effective. You don't need more visibility. You need better visibility. LinkedIn can absolutely support your practice growth when it reflects the work you actually want and the clients you actually serve. If this episode resonated for you, it likely touched on something you already sensed. And that awareness is the first step out of the visibility trap. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with a few golden nuggets to carry with you. First, likes measure agreement. They do not measure trust. If your goal is clients, not applause, you have to write for the people who are deciding, not the people who are scrolling. Second, the content that gets you hired often gets less engagement. Authority signaling posts are quieter, more specific, and more opinionated. That's not a flaw. That is the point. Third, if someone cannot tell what they would call you for after reading your posts, visibility is not helping you. Positioning, not consistency, is what turns attention into action. So until we meet again, focus less on being seen and more on being understood. Now, listeners, before I sign off, I have one quick invitation for you all. On Monday, February 2nd, which is Groundhog Day at 11 a.m. Central, I'm hosting a special Ask Susan Anything session with a practice building focus. This is a place where you can come and you can ask me about this episode, any other episode, one of the books, any of my articles, or really anything that you want to get a little input on your practice building, on your business development. So if repeating the same strategies is producing the same results, this is your opportunity to ask real questions and get candid guidance on what actually moves practices forward. You can find the registration link for the Ask Susan Anything at susaneguthrie.com, or just go directly to the show notes. I'll put a link there. I'd really love to see you there, and I hope I'll see you again here next week on the Practice Playbook podcast. Thanks so much for listening to the Practice Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love it if you'd take a moment to leave a review, follow the show, or share it with a colleague who's ready to build the practice of their dreams. If you want more support and tools like the ones you heard today, join the waitlist for the Practice Accelerator, my brand new subscription program packed with resources to help you grow smarter. You can find the link in the show notes or visit susaneguthrie.com to learn more. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and remember, success starts with the right playbook.